Hi, this is Bio again, and I'm here to do the review on the second episode of Attack on Titan Season 2, and of course I have my notes, so if I look down, just looking down at the notes, I'm going to put them right here so I can just kind of look at them and flip through the pages, and it'll be a lot easier. Alright, so first things first. So we have, of course, the recap of the last episode. The wall rose has been breached. Pixis was notified, and the 104th squad separated out into different groups, one going one way, one going the other. And then we go to the actually beginning of the episode where Armin tells Eren and Mikasa that the Titans were made out. The walls were made out of Titans. And of course, Hanji is studying Annie's fragment very closely as she brings the priest Nick with them as they move out to the squad and go into the direction of where they need to go. So the forces move out. Armin is pretty much questioning existence at this point. Like, he's in shock that the walls are actually made of Titans, and well, who wouldn't be shocked about that? I would personally be like, well, all these things that we've been trained to fight, and now it's like they've been protecting us the whole time. That's a little weird and crazy and just out of control. So there's that. And then the next, Eren freaks out, like yelling at Nick, the priest, the pastor, yelling at him, "You son of a bitch!" Trying to figure out, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you? What's going on? You need to tell us. And Hanji is, just like, ugh. But Eren is freaking out just on this dude. Like, you need to tell us how the wall was created. And Captain Levi pulls a gun on him. And this is funny, Captain Levi pulls a gun on him, and Hanji's just like threatening him. Doesn't work. I've tried. And then we go on, and it switches to Sasha. She goes off to her home, and then she has this flashback, and the flashback is of her, and I already presumed it was her father, so I hope that's not a spoiler, but that's going to be at the end of the episode anyways. So it was her father fighting with her over a piece of meat, give it back, freaking out, trying to take it from her, and then she totally fights him off and hides behind a tree and starts eating it. And I think this is actually a really, important character development for Sasha. So he decides to tell her, the forest is decreasing, there's people coming in, they're hunting, they're building houses, they're trying to live a life after the first wall, after the Colossal Titan wrecked the wall and destroyed hundreds of people's homes. And she's just kind of like, well, I don't care, Oh, and he says that he wants to sell horses, why don't we just start selling horses? And she freaks out on him and goes, I don't care about those people, they don't belong here, we need to still live by our old ways. And she's just pissed that these people are coming in and taking what initially she thinks is theirs. And her father... Alright, notes. Sorry. So, she's basically being really selfish. She's being a selfish person. And her father, just tells her it's life or death with the old ways, too. Like, if you're gonna live by the old ways, you're gonna die. Oh, my camera moved. I'm sorry. If you're gonna live by the old ways, you have to be able to die by the old ways. And that actually makes her think about what she just said. And it's the end of flashback, and she sees Titan tracks, and after she finds the Titan tracks, she comes upon this giant settlement, and she also makes a notification that this wasn't here before. When was this built? We have to take consideration she has been gone for 3 years, 4 years. Around that time she has been gone. So there's a giant settlement, and she comes across a drawbridge. Drawbridge. Anyway, she comes across a drawbridge that's, and she jumps over with her horse, and she's looking for, her people, her father. She's looking around, and she comes up on a house. Well, first there's this little, before she even comes up on it, there's a little girl just standing there, just like, I might even do the face, just going, just wide-eyed, shocked. And there's a Titan in the house eating a person, probably her mother, just eating. And Sasha comes in and attacks him with an axe, and tries to, and it goes flying, and she's like, oh, and she goes and takes the little girl, and she's like, it'll be okay, and they're running, and she comes up on her horse, and she's talking to the little girl like, it's okay, you'll be okay. And the little girl asks this really, really weird question, like, why are you being so nice to me? Which I thought was really strange and kind of fucked up. I was like, wow, it's kind of heartbreaking. Like, this little girl, her mom was being eaten by a Titan, alive, by the way, and Sasha did apologize to the mother, but I bet the mother just appreciates that her daughter, got out, was being saved by somebody. I would. I'd be like, yeah, just fucking take her. I don't care. Just take her. I'm dead already. Just take her. So she's, talking, and she's like, no, it'll be okay. And the horse, the horse. This horse. What is up with horses in this season? Like, really? Flying through not walls, but flying through the air because Titans be throwing them? Running away? Sasha just runs away, and you're just like, that sucks, okay. So what is she gonna do? She sees bow and arrows, and she grabs that shit. Because, she used to be a hunter, and she could be a badass with that shit. And they just start running because the Titans all creeping and walking out like, I'm gonna eat you, So she's explaining to the little girl, everything's gonna be okay. And then, for some reason, we get this flashback, and it's another good, this episode was a lot about character development. It was really good about Sasha's character development. And it goes to a flashback where Ymir walks up to Sasha while they're in training, like they're obviously on the end of the day, and she's getting water, and she comes up and she's just like, why are you always so friggin' nice? You don't have to be polite to everybody. And just telling Sasha that she doesn't need to be this person, like, you need to be who you really are, and all this stuff. And Chris is just like, leave her alone. Sasha can be who she wants to be, all this stuff. And it's like, Krista says, she can reinvent herself if she wants to, and I think that was one thing that you see in these two flashbacks in different time periods, where Sasha was this selfish person that didn't care about these people, and then now she's in the she's not in the Servant Corps yet. She's in training to become a soldier, and she's being nicer. And to me, I'm like, okay, I don't know if it's like her being different or her just trying to change. Maybe she, her father's teachings got put into her head, like, well, he's right, maybe I should care a lot more, blah blah blah, something like that. I don't know. There's like an in-between space where it's like, boom, and that was my tangent. I should have left it for the end, so I might just re-up that at the end. Anyways, so that's the end of the flashback, and the Sasha and the little girl just start running, and they're running, and they go over the drawbridge that's like this. She pushes the girl up there, she climbs over it, the Titan's still chasing them, and she uses her hunting skills to try to aim for the Titan's eye. Well, oh, no, sorry, I read ahead. She tells the little girl to don't give up and keep running. There will be people that will help you there'll be people that will help you. Just keep going. Don't stop. Don't give up. and she uses her hunting skills to try to shoot the Titan in the eye, because she figured, you know, if she has enough time, she won't need to, you know, she might not be able to kill it, but she'll be able to stall it for them, especially her, to get away, because the little girl has a head start. And this one's going to be kind of a short review, but I guess I can do a tangent on character developments. But, so she uses the skills, you know, she got one eye, and she is down to her last arrow, and there's just, I'm like, oh shit, she better aim really good. And then Sasha just becomes a savage. I'm like, yes, this is why she's one of my favorite characters, because she just female characters, I should say, because she just becomes a straight up savage. She just throws the bow, and she's just like, fuck that shit, I'm gonna hit it with a fucking arrow. And she runs up to it, she stabs it in the eye. She just, you know, and then she just starts running. She's just like, she books it. And all of a sudden she looks over, and there's these people riding with the little girl, and the man who we previously now we know that is her father, says, is that Sasha? And they pick her up, and it's like, okay, cool, like, she's safe. And her father tells her that they've been going to settlements trying to help people and everything like that. And the crowning moment that I seen with Sasha's character is that her father tells her that he is proud of her. And that was pretty much the end of the episode. And now we're going to go on with Sasha's character development. They are working on the characters that really haven't a lot of character development like we know them. Like Sasha was Potato Girl, and she was, you know, she's crazy, she's intense, she does work hard for especially food. But seeing those flashbacks with her and her father, and learning about that she was kind of being a selfish person to want the forest to themselves, because all she's known is the forest and how to live off of it, and that's all she's ever been known to do, and hunting. And now that everything is like falling apart around her after the walls breakdown, she is initially a child still in this, and so she really didn't have the mind to understand that her father was going to just go lead a different path. And it's not a bad thing, but she saw it as a bad thing because, to me, she was afraid of the change. She was afraid to go forth and change all this, just everything. She didn't want the change. And I mean, I understand that, you know, as a child, I had to move from my hometown I grew up in into this area because my dad's job had to transfer him because it was the mill out here was closing down, and I fucking hated it, and I still hated it, and I still ended up back here, which is wonderful. But seeing as now, like, to me, seeing her going in to the military and having friends and being able to get along with people, even though maybe she had to change some of her outer her forwardness. I will say that, like, her forwardness. She had to change that she was a selfish person, which to me, even though Ymir was like, well, you shouldn't have to hide, blah, 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 but to me, that seemed like a change for the better, because now Sasha has more of a respect for people, has more of a respect for herself, and she probably, with that flashback, she probably felt bad that she felt that way about these people before. And that's why the flashback kind of showed her, you know, being this selfish person that her father just told her she shouldn't be, and if she wanted to live by the old ways, she had to die by the old ways. And I think saving the little girl, to her in her mind, yes, it was her job. Like being a soldier, being a scout, it was her job to save the little girl, but to me, I feel like it was more of like a redemption. She redeemed herself in her eyes by saving this little girl, and then she just got a reward from her father, because earlier in the last episode her village told her, you know, come back when you're not crazy. But it was like one of those things where it was, her father was proud that she hit such a, that this milestone, she got over this giant milestone in her life. And I thought that was great. Now, I'm excited because obviously they're doing more character development for certain characters, which I'm really excited for. I'm really excited to see the character developments of like Connie, and we've seen a lot of the trio, obviously. Mikasa, Eren, Armin, you know, we've seen them, but we haven't seen too much of the rest of the group. Like, they did do those OVAs where they had, you know, the little OVAs, like Jean being this little chubby kid. And, you know, like, they did those things, but I want to see it more like canon in the show, where they're going to, you know, hey, this, like, I know in the next episode, no, maybe it's not the next episode, it's the episode, I think it's episode 5, where we get to see a lot of character development for Krista and a little bit of Ymir. So that's kind of exciting, you know, to get to know more of these people, which, face it, you know, this show is crazy and out of control sometimes, and everybody is eventually probably gonna die. So the main group is probably gonna die in one way, shape, or form. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen, because I really like all the characters, but you know, it might happen. So this is Biohazard 13, Bio for short. That is my review and my thoughts on this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me have some feedback, comments, concerns. Maybe I'll update some of these and tell you, oh, well, yeah, I might do an overall, after every episode of season 2 comes out, I'll probably do an overall review of the whole season. And I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye!